Hello and welcome to Homeschool Together. Pinky, what are we doing today?
The same thing we did 3 years ago.
Take over the world.
Today we want to talk with you about our new around the world journey, which we're going to call Trekking the Globe.
Trekking the Globe,
It's a
soaring
working
the
title.
world, passports to fun. We have many names.
I don't know.
We'll use them all.
It's a working title.
And what will always happen? We'll call it
Around the world
journey.
Anyway, what we're doing is we are studying world cultures and geography with our daughters. We did a combination of Build Your Library and Torchlight. Build Your Library level 0, which is the kindergarten level, with Torchlight level K. We did that when our daughter was 5 and 6, and we comboed those two curriculums, and we did everything. We went everywhere. We did 2 weeks per country. It was a huge...
clusters of countries, yeah.
Right. It was a huge study. It was super fun. It was very in-depth. We had a great time with it.
It was long.
It was long. So, but we totally got immersed in it. We really loved it.
Yep.
Now, this time around, we are coming at it with our newly minted 5-year-old. She's only been 5 for a few weeks.
Few days.
And then our 8.5-year-old. And the reason we're doing this a little bit differently is that our older daughter was very happy to just kind of like absorb everything, go with the flow.
Read me all the books.
Yeah, she was just like, she would be willing to sit there for hours, just read. And our younger daughter really doesn't have that level of patience. She's interested, she's excited, and she wants to do the activity, and then let's do something else, and let's move on to something else. So we knew that doing that kind of in-depth study with her wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
Also, having done this full around the world journey before, we know that there are some countries that we had an absolute blast in and we didn't have enough time with. I'm looking at you, Italy, and England, right? There were some that we just...
Yeah, we wish we spent a little bit more time in.
Yeah, our kids loved studying some of these places. Brazil, I mean, there were some great ones, right?
Yeah, right.
And there were places that our kids really didn't connect with much. We didn't find a whole lot of books for, or the movies that we were able to find, it just really didn't click with our daughter at that time. So we decided we were going to pare down this time.
Yep.
And we're going to try to keep it around 36 weeks. It's going to be a little bit more. But the goal is for us to go back to the places that we feel like there was a lot of information about, our kids really enjoyed. We'll spend 1 week or 2 weeks, depending on what it is, what country or group of countries it is. And we're just going to be doing some adaptation as well. So we're not going to go everywhere, but we're going to go to places that we really enjoyed, and we're going to adapt a bit for our older learner, because the books that are meant for kindergartners, in some cases, our older learner will totally enjoy.
She'll do everything that we are going to do with our younger one. She will be more than happy to do.
Right.
It's just that we need to give her a little bit more to challenge her at her level. And we've come up with engage her and we've come up with a couple of really cool projects that we're going to do and how we did that. We know there's a lot of families out there that may need to do something like this, where they blend a couple age groups together, and we want you to follow along with what we're doing. Hopefully we can give you ideas if you have to do something similar to this, but also give you ideas on how to take curriculums and kind of upscale them for a little bit older learner that you may have going along with you.
Right, because we know that it's hard to make things easier. You can always make something harder.
Yep.
There's always more to learn, right? And so talking about world cultures or history or whatever the subject is, we can always upscale. But so that's why we're kind of going with our younger daughter's level, and we're going to kind of stay with her. So we are not strictly taking books from Build Your Library and Torchlight. We will take some from those locations because they both had some great books.
Yeah, and they're right over our shoulder. We have them all from the previous journey that we did. So there's absolutely, you will see a lot of the crossover. So if you're following along at home, you go, oh, they're using the books for this one and that one.
We're using some of them. There are some of them we're absolutely not using.
Yeah.
Our family is not a poetry family or a folk tales family. It's just not our jam. But if it's your jam, definitely add it in. So you won't find a lot of us recommending a lot of that. We'll do some folk tales and a little bit of poetry, but
we have a few of them, yeah.
It's not really our thing.
And it's worth testing the grounds with our younger one, because that may be something she may be interested in.
Right. So we'll do a little bit with her and see if it connects with her. Knowing she doesn't have that level of patience, I don't know that she's going to really sit for poetry. But hey, You know what? I might be surprised.
Yeah.
So we'll introduce a little bit of it.
She's been the one that's always surprised us.
Yeah, she has been. She's a firecracker.
Yeah.
So there's going to be some books that you'll recognize, and there's a bunch of books that we have or new books that have come out or things that we've heard about that we're going to be adding. We're, of course, going to be adding the main literature, the chapter book selections. We have the books for the 5-year-old age, but we don't have the books for, the 8-year-old range. And our 8-year-old, she does a lot of audiobooks. She listens to Harry Potter and other
very
things.
Large, complex books. Yep.
Yeah. So we definitely want to give her books that are above her reading level because her actual, physical reading level is not as high as her listening level.
Yeah.
So we'll definitely try to find books that we can either read to her or that she can listen to.
But she is
really engage her.
She's definitely it's kind of funny, as we start this, she has begun to, I know if you guys have followed along with us, you know the struggles with reading that we've had. She is starting to read chapter books. And little bit. And we are very excited. So I have a very sneaking suspicion by the end of this journey that we take, whatever we call it, our oldest will be reading some chapter books, and we're going to be finding some really fun books along the way that if you have an 8 or a 9-year-old who is reading, we'll give you guys some good recommendations on books that you can either read to them or they can read to you.
Right. And we've already seen, as I've been kind of like looking through, especially some of the picture books and things, that our 8.5-year-old is going to be able to read those to our younger daughter, which we're pretty excited about because we've already read them. We know these stories, and not that they're not great books.
And she kind of likes being
excited.
She's excited, but she also kind of likes being the teacher. She loves to sit on the couch with her sister and read her a book or point out things and try to teach her stuff. So if you have an older learner that you're bringing along, please leverage that because at least for our 2 kids, that is something they enjoy. Like our youngest loves like sitting there like she's the little kid and that's the mommy, and you can kind of let them play, but also in some funny way do a little bit of education. So
we'll definitely be kind of upscaling some of those chapter book selections. And then there's the project stuff. So
we have decided to do a project with her that is an ongoing project that blends a lot of skills.
Right, because so Build Your Library does an animal, kind of like an animal of the week type of thing, and Torchlight does a travel guide thing where you write about a person or a place or something. We found that when we did this with our daughter when she was 5, that the Build Your Library animal thing was pretty good. That was pretty right-sized. The Torchlight thing was too advanced for her age, and I think that a lot of people have said that was just too much. So we didn't want to redo that. And our kids aren't like huge into animals. They're interested, but if we wanted to do a big thing on animals, I think that would be a little bit too much.
Yeah.
So what we decided for our older daughter, we are doing our travel guide for her. Rather than just writing a paragraph about a famous person or something in this country, we're actually having her be a little travel agent. And we will show this. We've just finished making it actually. We will show it in the weeks that we start to use it. But basically, it's where she's going to say, why should you, like as if she were a travel agent, why should you go to this country? So let's say it's France. Why should you visit France? Oh, well, you should go because of the great architecture and the great food and whatever. And she can write those things. And then what things would we see there? Oh, we would see the Eiffel Tower. We would see the Louvre Museum. We would go to the Pyrenees or whatever. So all the things that we would see. And then a 14-day itinerary of a trip, like a fake trip. And all the days and where we would be. The top 5 foods we would eat, and kind of describing what they are in case.
And then the costs
associated with the transportation and the sightseeing,
the flights and the trains and all that stuff.
Food. So she's basically putting together like a little travel brochure, and that sounds like a lot, but one of the things, we did a little test run with this, and we haven't done our first week of it, obviously. And we're going to help her with the first week so she can kind of get it. But
we're also going to show her how to research the information and find the information.
But that's the thing, is teaching her how to do that. So there's a spot on there where she needs to color the flag. So we have the Countries of the World book, and we will show her that, and then she can find the flag and she can color that herself. As far as foods to eat and things, we're leveraging our Google Home quite a bit. So we obviously have books that have some of this stuff in there. They have some of the sites to see. Like she's going to be able to, if, for example, if we turn to the France spread in the Countries of the World book, it's going to show the Eiffel Tower. There's a couple adventures around the world books that, they're going to show some of the main sites, right? So she's going to be able to find that. When it comes to like how much is the cost, we found that we were able to ask Google Home. So hey Google, what's the cost of a flight from Seattle to Paris?
I'm looking to see if our other Google.
No, it's not plugged in.
Yeah, not plugged in.
But the Google Home was able to tell her what the average cost of that flight was. And then we said, hey Google, what's the average cost for a person to eat, a traveler to eat per day in Paris? What's the average cost for a hotel room in Paris? Yep. And so like it was able to give us all that information. So between books we have and things that she can ask, and then she can ask us if there's something specific she needs to research. But she can ask Google, we have a couple of fun facts too, like what's the national animal, what languages are spoken, what's the population. Yep. She can ask Google all these things. And the Google Home is really nice too because of the screen. She can actually ask it to help her spell things.
Yeah, she's been actually using that for a number of months. Whenever she has to write something, she will go and like for one of her classes at our parent partnership, it was a food class, and she would have to spell what food she ate that week that was something new that she had tried, and then rate it. And a lot of times she would ask Google how to, how do I spell a pineapple upside down cake, and it would help her, and she would work on her handwriting and stuff. And so she's going to use the same skills here.
So we have these sheets that we've made in Canva, and I'm thinking that we probably will want to share these sheets.
Yeah, we'll put them up for people to download.
We'll put them up on Gumroad so people can grab them, and you can find the link down in the show notes here. But yeah, so we've got these sheets that are already made that she can just fill out, and she can get help from Google Home. She can get help from us. But the most important thing about this project is that this isn't something that you or I have to actively do. She is going to need to turn this in at the end of every week or 2 weeks or whatever.
Yeah, starting to foster that independence.
Exactly. And then what we thought we would do, she can present it to us, but we can also call Grandma and Grandpa on the Google Home or on FaceTime or something, and she can present this to them as like, hey, Grandma, Grandpa, don't you want to go to Brazil? Here's all the great things that we're going to do, and here's our itinerary, and here's how much it costs. So we're getting a little bit of math, we're getting handwriting, some research skills, and she's getting to know the country in a bit more depth. So I said, like, she's very excited about this project because she's like, I get to say where we're going to go. I get to decide. And I said, hey, you never know. Someday, one of your itineraries might be something we do.
We might pull it off the shelf.
Yeah, and say like, I didn't realize there were so many cool things to do in that country. Maybe we should think about it. So that's the project that we're doing for our older daughter, and she's really jazzed about it. So you can do something like that, or if you have an older learner, if they are just super into famous people or super into science or something, you can find any thread for her. She's very into like planning.
She does. Yeah.
I don't know
where she got that from. But I love how you've designed this project to incorporate research, independence, handwriting, math, writing full sentences. There's a lot of like handwriting, but not just writing simple single words. We're going to ask her to write full sentences. I love how it's just bringing all of the skills together that she's learning elsewhere and putting it into one project that she's going to be excited about. It has art, it has pictures, it has everything.
Right, and we have a few spots for her to draw.
It's a great project.
There's a spot for the itinerary for there to be a map. We thought we can either draw a map outline or we can print one, and then she's going to be able to tell us like how we're going to get from place to place.
Perfect.
It really is going to force her to think too about the logistics. Like, is this someplace we can drive to?
Do you want to crisscross the country, or do you want to go more of a logical way around?
Right. She's going to have to think a little bit like, okay, well, here's where we want to go. And gosh, I didn't realize that this famous site's here and this other one's over here.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So I think it's going to help with geography.
All of it.
I'm pretty excited about it, and most importantly, she is.
Yeah.
So we're hoping this will be a great, mostly independent project that she can do every week.
I mean, I have a feeling I'll be reminding her that, hey, you got to work on your project. Do you need some help? Do you need some videos and stuff? But I really feel like she's going to go off and do her thing, and that's going to be exciting.
I think it's going to be really exciting.
And then we're also now doing so both Build Your Library and
mainly Build Your Library
had a science section as well
that
we're not going to be doing, which is, it was another nature study, right?
Well, it was really that animal of the week kind of thing.
And so we are bolting in kind of a really cool idea that you came up with, and we've kind of been brainstorming this idea of studying biomes and using the biomes of the various regions that we are going to, the countries, learning about those biomes, which will incorporate animals and all that type of stuff, but coming back to different the same biome across many parts of the world, and we're going to learn about alpine, deserts, and rainforests and whatnot, but then covering that same biome again, like when we do Indonesia, right? Or if we do a mountainous region, like if we do Nepal again, like we'll be able to hit the same thing that we hit in Peru that we hit in Nepal, but they'll have different animals, a little bit different scenarios, but we'll be covering the same biome. And this is a really cool project of using us traveling around the world and studying these biomes and having this kind of being a looping schedule. And you've gone out and found a number of books, and you're kind of putting together kind of a spine, and we're going to be doing projects and watching videos and consuming media, documentaries, whatever and wherever we can find it, whether it's on YouTube or on like Disney Plus through the Nat Geo section on there. We're going to be learning about these different biomes, doing projects, and kind of reinforcing the experience there. What's cool is about our area is we have a lot of these biomes right here around us. We're very fortunate. And if we can go
visit them, that's what I'd really like to do. And so, we are within a few hours drive of a rainforest, which is really cool. Obviously, we have deciduous forests here and alpine tundra
and we have
locations.
Deserts right across the mountains.
There are wetlands. So there's a lot of things.
Rivers and lakes and streams and oceans and all this stuff.
Marine. And so, and if we went across the mountains, you're right, there's desert. So there's some really cool things that we can do. One of the things that I like about this is that if we just are going to do a different animal every week, I think our kids are really going to forget.
Yeah, where that animal was for. They may remember a certain fun animal.
Perhaps.
And there were a couple kind of fun animals I remember we studied the first time around, and they remembered that. But if it's like you're studying an ibex or you're studying like a crocodile, that's cool. They kind of know about that. But then it just kind of like washes away.
So we're going to pull those animals in with the biome.
Yeah, I like the idea of the biomes because it's definitely something they can see and touch. Even if you are inside of like even if you're like in kind of like a flat rural area, like kind of in the Midwest, there's going to be lakes, there's going to be,
there might be some wetlands.
And there may be some rivers and maybe even, mountains a few hours drive away. And different, maybe even a desert that you can get to, or that's maybe a seasonal desert. It's not that far where you can get something that's a little bit different. So take advantage of that. I like that idea. I like that where maybe you can touch those biomes or go and see things.
My hope is by the end of this whole thing that when we talk about any of these biomes, they aren't going to remember every piece, but that the kids start to remember bits and pieces about this. And it's fun because you can talk about not only animals, but plants, and different cycles that happen in that area, weather that's
and we've been finding
there.
a lot of great books. There's a lot of books that are tailored to these different biomes, and that we're going to be able to pull and source, and we'll show them to you as we get through them.
Rather than saying like, we have to find a book about the desert in this country, we can just find a book about deserts. And a lot of those, we joke, like Planet Earth, Living Planet, Our Planet, Frozen Planet, all the planet, all the things, the plethora of beautiful nature documentaries. A lot of times they'll have at least, their episodes will be based on a biome a lot of the time. It's like, it's all about deserts and stuff, so we can watch that. And I'm hoping that through some experiences of going to see stuff, maybe some crafts, some art, some...
Going to the zoo as well.
Yeah, going to the zoo. We want to do some zoo trips too. And I hope if we just kind of keep coming back, we can incorporate animals and things. And then I'm hoping that our kids will get a little bit more out of it if we go with biomes. And so,
especially when this younger learners, when you do the one and done thing and you do it for 1 week or maybe 2 weeks and you study a little bit, it's not going to stick. And I found that
they have to remember.
No, we're not asking them to do that. But,
like facts and figures, but we kind of want them to have a flavor sense.
You want some stuff to stick. And I found that if you come back to it a number of times, I think this approach, it will be interesting to see how well this works by looping back and back and
maybe
back.
it won't work at all for the 5-year-old. I know that our 8.5-year-old...
Our 8.5-year-old will definitely get some out of it.
She will definitely get something out of it. So I think that this is a fun project, and I'm hoping that it incorporates enough different pieces that, later they can have some sense of of their world. So yeah, we're going to be pulling in lots of things for that. But I think the biome study is going to be really fun and hopefully a bit more impactful than, the animal of the week. So,
and it's also something that, it's another element where we can upscale for our older learner as well. So we can give her we can read her more complicated things, we can watch more complicated things, and she can enjoy that without feeling like it's, kind of scaled down to a kindergartner level. She can get a little bit more advanced.
And note, when we study a country, obviously a lot of countries have a plethora of biomes. They may have all the biomes in, depending on the size of the country. So we're just going to pick one biome for that country to study. And the biome that we're going to pick is either because that's what most of the country is, or a specific area is known for, or we want to just mix it up. I mean, we don't want to do rainforest one week and then rainforest the next week. So we might choose, like the Amazon River might choose freshwater one week and then rainforest the next week.
Yeah, because like if we do like Peru and Colombia, I think that's our first country that we're going through.
We're going to do alpine tundra.
I don't know if we want to do rainforest because Brazil is right down the street, and there's so many great books about the rainforest. But we're not going to
do Brazil until Carnival.
Carnival, so it's the question of like how long.
We're trying to sprinkle is what we're trying to do. So yes, if you see us we're going to do Colombia and Peru, and we're going to do alpine tundra, you might be like, really? You're not going to do rainforest? This is the reason. We're trying to sprinkle so that we can kind of have an even coating of everything.
But if you decide to do something like biomes like this, you can do whatever you want. And if you want to cover whatever biomes you want, maybe your kids are really hot on rainforest, and so anytime you see rainforest, you just do the rainforest. So I totally understand.
But I think that this could be a fun way to be able to bring in media,
It's going to be a lot of great media.
Books and all kinds of stuff about the biome, rather than having to find a book about a rainforest in Brazil.
that can be very challenging,
especially can be really tough.
If you like, I want a rainforest book about Colombia. Well, sorry, there may be one, might be two, but most of the rainforest books in that area are written about Brazil.
Or it's just general.
Or it's just general Amazon.
And that's the bigger one, is it's just general rainforest.
And the Amazon does go into Peru, does go into Colombia. So it's like, if you're just going to do a generalized thing, you may have to find that type of media. So
that's one of the pieces for us. So the other thing we're going to do, we're going to lean a bit heavier into the food this time around. We love food. Of course, we love to make food from, the different countries. We did this last time. But now that we have a 5-year-old and not a 2-year-old, she can actually help.
And she can help now.
So that's a fun thing.
And I believe when we can, we're going to try and do a dinner and a movie to kick off the week.
Right.
So in our first one, we are doing Peru and Colombia. So that's going to be in 2 weeks. We're going to do maybe some type of Colombian food, and then we're probably watching Canto.
Right. Yeah. So that's the kind of thing. There used to be this dinner and a movie thing on TBS.
We used to do it all the time. We used to watch it all the time.
We used to, and we actually really like doing that.
And then we started doing it ourselves. So we would like pick a movie. We said, hey, let's watch a movie. I don't know what you want to watch. Oh, let's watch The Godfather. All right, we'll make Italian food.
All Italian American food. Yeah. Or we actually started doing this marriage book club thing where we would read the same book. And then at the end, we would always read a book that had a movie. So then at the end of it, we would watch the movie and make some meal that we felt was reminiscent of the book in some way. Yeah. So that's really fun too. We're going to try to kick it off that way. And then the other thing that we're really going to focus on this time, now that our kids are older, we don't have a 2-year-old and we're not coming just out of COVID, we have more options.
And we can get out.
Right. We are going to try to add lots of experiences this time. And what that means for us...
We were locked in, and when we did this the first time, it was pandemic, so we couldn't do this. And this is a great addition. I really agree with you on this.
So we're going to try for every country to do an experience. Now, this can be something, for example, for the week of Brazil, we've already planned, we're going to do that during Carnival, so we can watch Carnival live. That's going to be our experience. So no cost. We don't have to go out anywhere, but it's an experience that we can all have and we can all get excited about. There's so on the other side, like the Highland Games is this summer, and we're going to study Scotland and Ireland during the Highland Games, and we're going to go to the Highland Games. So that's our plan. So it can be and anything in between. I know we've talked about some weeks where, like our local farmers market has food trucks that come every week. I went ahead and talked to the market manager and got a look at the calendar, and I know all the different food trucks that are coming. So I'm like, great, we're going to study.
And you got this information. This was actually kind of how you organized the country.
Right, this is how I picked.
Because last time we just went North America, South America, Europe.
We did all by continent.
I believe Torchlight jumps around a lot.
They do.
But you decided to say, you put a calendar map, essentially a calendar path, and said, okay, here are all these major events. Those are the countries we're going to do on those weeks, and then we're going to try and slot in other stuff along the way.
Exactly. So we made a list of all of our favorites, and then a list of all of the events and things that are happening. And like I say, I just went to the farmer's market manager and asked for the calendar of food trucks, and I was able to find out when the Korean food truck is coming. Great, that's the week we're going to do Korea. So it doesn't have to be a huge thing that you do, but if you can find something to actually really connect it, I know our kids are going to remember that stuff better.
I think so too.
If we can, when we study Japan, we're going to go out for sushi.
Yep.
Because why would you not?
Why not?
You know, and if there's a Japanese garden somewhere, I'd love to see if we could go there. So it doesn't all have to be things that you go out and do. It doesn't all have to be expensive. It could just be things that you're doing at home, like when we watch Carnival. But we're going to try to do something that's not just read books, watch a movie or a YouTube video about it, do a little art. We're going to try to do something that's just different for everything to the best of our ability. I know, like, and you know, there's going to be times where, like Eastern Europe, that we have an Eastern European food store in our town. I know that that's just a very random thing to have in a small town, but we do. We have an Eastern European food store. So
we'll go there and make a yum box.
Yeah, we're going to go there and we're going to talk to the owners and find out where they're from, and, you know, not just shop, but kind of like, you know, have a little experience, and maybe they can show us what some of their favorite snacks are and things to help us build we love Universal Yums. I think we're going to do an unboxing on the channel so you can see, but it's a snack box of world snacks, and you get from a different country every month. And if we can, we'll put together our own little snack pack, or we call them yum boxes. Put together our own little yum box for the different countries that we go to, so that our kids can try things if we can do that. So that's kind of how we're going to try to make it different. We're you know, upscaling some of the books for our older learner. We're doing this travel guide. We're doing biomes instead of just animal study. And we're going to try to add experiences and up the food. So I think that's like the basics, right? That covers just about everything.
I believe so, and if anything changes along the way, we'll update things. But we'll be bringing. I think the next episode we're going to put out is going to be talking about a lot about the spines that we are doing, and a lot of games and a lot of other type of puzzles and activities. We're going to showcase a lot of that stuff that we've already pulled together for what we're going to use for this. Soaring the world, passport to freedom, whatever we want to call it, passport to the planet of connections. You know, maybe our planet.
Yeah, we have a lot of things that we've collected, and we're just pulling all of our resources together now as we kind of get geared up. I'm not sure exactly how long it'll be before we actually start our first week, but we're very excited this time. I think we learned a lot the last time. If you've never done it before, if you want to combine Torchlight and build your library, I don't think that's a bad way to go. We really enjoyed it, and
having the printed out guides help you through, especially if it's your first time, getting the list of books, checking them out from the library, crossing the things off on the list. That is such a not a crutch, but it's just something to lean against if it's your first time.
It's nice to have some guidance.
It's really nice to have guidance. Since we've already done that, we've done the combos and we've done the ancient history. You know, this is we've done this a number of times. We're to that point now where we're starting to have fun with the curriculum, and we're starting to put together our own thing, but we're using the inspiration of the around the world, and we're pulling a lot of the things that you'll see, a lot of the common books, you'll see a lot of the common chapter books, and a lot of the early reader books there as well. So you'll see a lot of commonalities of what we're going to be doing, but we're going to be adding a bunch of stuff, and hopefully that may be inspiring to you and your homeschool. To maybe change it up, and if something's not working for you, here's a video from us on showing how to do something a little different.
I think these two curriculums, Build Your Library and Torchlight, are both terrific. And I think they're worth every penny to purchase them, because they give you so many ideas for what you're going to do. Even if you don't follow it exactly, I wouldn't say that this is like, oh, we would not do something from, like, you still need those resources, and we definitely appreciate those creators who've made such great resources. We've purchased them both, of course. And if you have purchased them both and you want a combo schedule, you can email us, and I'll send you the combo with your proofs of purchase, because they're great. So this is not in any way to say, don't do those things. I think overall for us, we're at the point, and it feels good to be a little bit more relaxed. We did this the last time. We were like, we start on a Monday. we must end on a Friday, and
that's okay. If you're like that, totally understand it. We've been there.
Yeah, we did that too. And this time we're kind of like feeling the rabbit trails a little bit more.
You said, and you're like, if it takes 4 days to do the week, it's 4 days. If it takes 10 days, it takes 10 days. And I think we're not going to stress about it, because you're right. We did take it from 70, because a lot of the last one is that we had like 70 something weeks.
It was I think it was like 65.
Something, it felt like 100. But we brought it in.
It was really fun.
36. So now it feels like we have a little bit more room to breathe and everything. And I think if you do the combo, by the time you get to the end of the combo, if you do all the way through, you'll feel like, oh, that was a lot. And it was. I remember it was a lot, but it was a good a lot, because it was good. It felt like there was we did it all.
It was very comprehensive. I was like, we learned as adults, I think, so much about
I loved it.
The countries that we never knew, which was awesome.
Yeah.
Loved that. And so I think it was valuable that we did that. But yeah, this time we are trying to take a more relaxed approach. And if the kids are really into one aspect of a country, we're going to go into that. If they really want to do more arts and crafts,
absolutely,
and it delays our start of the next thing by a couple days,
and we're doing this in the summer, where we have trips to Grandma and Grandpa's. We have birthday parties, and we have camping trips. So there's going to be weeks where we are derailed because of life. And I think we're just trying to take it easy and not be so stressed, because our youngest is 5, so it's kind of on the earlier spectrum, but she is very much ready for this. And
she's very excited.
But we don't want to make it so like, okay, we got to go. I like this more relaxed approach that we're taking.
Yeah, you'll see less books from us this time than we did last time. We really tried to, because our older daughter she wanted to read. She wanted us to read to her hours and hours a day.
Oh my gosh, we were going through like 10 or 12 children's books.
A lot of books that we were reading. So there'll be a little bit less this time.
But if you are looking for book recommendations, if you're looking for recipe recommendations, if you're looking for media recommendations, down in the show notes below, we have our resource guides that we put for every continent around the world. So if you are looking to if you run into a situation like I know we're going to run into, where you get to a country, you need more stuff, pick up one of those guides in that area. You're going to get all the media, hundreds and hundreds of videos, thousands of books.
I would say it is the most comprehensive resource that I have ever found anywhere.
Was it Touring the World, right? Yeah, trademark.
Yeah, we called it Touring the World. That's what we should call this, just Touring the World. So it's the most comprehensive list, I think, that you're going to find anywhere, of books, and movies, TV shows, games, YouTube videos, games, recipes for all the countries. And we didn't skip anything.
And we will be using those guides extensively in this.
It's literally everything. If you want to just make your own unit study about a country, or you want to, your library doesn't have any of the books that are recommended in the curriculum and you need something different, these guides are the most comprehensive thing. They took us like a year to put together, and
year and a half, I think. It took us a long time.
Especially with your YouTube videos, you found some amazing videos.
Yeah, we went through
amazing videos.
We went through on the first pass, and by the time we got later on to the fourth guide, I had been doing more and more, and we went back and we re-updated the first 2 or 3 guides and just added more and more and more stuff into it. So they are jam-packed.
They're massive. They're like 65 pages or something of just links. I mean, there's tons and tons of stuff in there. So, if you're gonna do this, I think you should absolutely go grab those.
It's worth. So if you know your YouTube family and you like to watch videos, and because it's a great resource, and you're sitting there going, well, every time I'm searching for something, and I hit it and I cast it up to my TV and we start watching it. Oh, that's not the right thing. So I search for another one. Those minutes and minutes and minutes and minutes stack up to hours and hours over the course of an entire thing. It's worth the time. I've done the work for you. Go down, get the guides, and just click on the links. They're all good videos. I watched them start to finish.
The hundreds and hundreds of hours that went into these, they are really great resources, and you know that they're all for families. They're not like...
There may be 1 or 2 videos that has 1 word or something, but
we tried our best.
Most of them are for the sake
of it. There's movies and all kinds of good things, and the movies all have a link to find on Just Watch where you can stream them. Yep. So that takes some of the work out of it for you too, finding where you can go. So highly recommend those, and we will use those and talk about them more. Yep. But yeah, I'm jazzed about this because let's
get our passports.
Yeah, I'm ready to
start.
Let's
start flying around.
I think our kids are going to have a great time with this. I think we are too. I feel more relaxed about it, and I feel ready to engage with this again. I know we were kind of like...
The only thing that's new for me, and we did a podcast a couple months ago, is now I've got 2. And there's going to be a lot of learning there, and we'll talk a lot about those challenges along the way, because I think there's a lot of families out there who may have a 6-year-old, but also a 3 and a 2-year-old, and you're thinking about how you're going to be homeschooling over the next couple of years, or you may be new to homeschooling, and you have a 6 or 7-year-old, but you also have a 9 or 10-year-old, and how do you do this? So hopefully this time around the planet that we're going to be doing is going to show families how to bring multiple ages along using these curriculums, because you have heard where people are doing multiple levels of like build your library. I don't know how I would do that. And it would just be... Those people are amazing. You're amazing if you do it. Put the comment below and we'll all give you upvotes and stuff. But for us, it's going to be a lot easier to just do the one curriculum, and then I can worry about the math and reading curriculums on the side. And
we can adjust the leveling in that curriculum as needed for each child.
It's just less so I can do more. And I think the doing more, but at a higher quality and being not so scattered between multiple children, I think it's going to be a better path.
Yeah, I do too. So stick with us. This is going to be what we'll be doing until next spring.
To the end of time.
But we'll also have some videos coming through about other aspects of homeschooling too. So if this is not what you're doing right now, still pay attention, because we will have some other things coming out about homeschooling tips and tricks and things we come up with. And we're doing lots of homeschool reviews of curriculum as well, which is going to keep going. We're excited about that too. So
it will never end, because they keep
tour the world with us. Yeah. Thanks everybody.